It is 7 p.m. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. I am President Lauren Christensen. We're really happy to see you all in the audience and those of you who are tuning in at home. Thank you. I'll start with Member Westra.
I'm Judy Westra. Thank you for coming out tonight and interrupting your Thanksgiving plans and family meetings.
I am Patrick Keogh. Thanks for joining us this evening.
I'm sorry.
I'm Cheryl Picard, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I hope you have a good holiday weekend.
Amin Ahmed, thank you for joining us.
Okay. To our student co-chairs.
Josh Patterson, SVA co-chair. Glad to see you all tonight, and happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm Saeed, and I'm a SVA co-chair and a senior at Canton High School.
Thank you. Dr. Merritt, can you introduce yourself and your team?
Yes, good evening, Superintendent Monica Merritt. Welcome to everyone that is here this evening. Welcome to our soccer team. We're very proud of you. Look forward to recognizing you a little bit later today for your I'm going to say your gracious act in this season of gratitude. And so we want to just again wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I want to begin by introducing my assistant, Ms. Diane Robertson. We want to thank her for being here to capture the minutes and all of the other things that keep us on track. I want to thank John Krieger, who's here to take care of our technology and our needs to help us run the meeting smoothly. I'd like Mr. Tiskowitz to continue on with introductions.
Thank you, Dr. Merritt. Kurt Tiskowitz, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. Welcome.
Good evening, Beth Rail, Chief Academic and Innovation Officer. Thank you for being here tonight.
Abdul Matyoun, Chief Human Resource Officer. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Liz Vartanian-Gibbs, Assistant Superintendent, Student and Family Engagement.
Great. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to the adoption of the agenda and the approval of the consent agenda. This is action item number 25-11-34. Can I please have a motion?
Madam President, I move that we approve the agenda and adopt the consent agenda, action item 25-11-34.
Can I please have a second?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Treasurer Kehoe and seconded by Secretary Westra. Dr. Merritt, can you please take us through the agenda?
Yes, President Christensen, this evening the consent agenda consists of human resources transactions since our last time together. We have some leaves, resignations, and retirements for your consideration. We also have the approval of minutes from the following meeting. We had our special meeting on November the 12th, 2024, and our regular meeting minutes from November the 12th, 2024. In addition, we have the consideration of approval for a resolution for the superintendent's salary schedule. This was the meeting that took place on November the 12th at our special meeting. We had our legal team review the Michigan Supreme Court's guidance advising that the district establish a formal salary schedule framework for the superintendent's position, and that is aligning with the terms of my current contract. And so that is there for your consideration. We followed up also in board notes on November the 15th to give you that information.
Okay. All right, I'm going to call for the vote. Those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Maydoun, please take us through human resources.
Yes, good evening. I have one retirement that I would like to recognize for today. That is Julie Milo. She's retiring from as elementary classroom at Dotson. She has been employed for the district since October of 2011. So we wish her well in her future endeavors and thank her for her service to the district. And that's all I have today.
All right, great, thank you very much. Okay, we will move along to one of our favorite sections of our meeting, celebrating success. This is with Member Kehoe.
Good evening, everyone. It was with great pride and immense gratitude that tonight the Board of Education has the honor of recognizing the Plymouth boys soccer teams with the STARS, Students with Tenacity Achieving and Reaching Success Award. This prestigious recognition is in celebration of their incredible generosity and community spirit demonstrated through the fundraising efforts in support of Plymouth High School teacher Sharon Mackey as she battles cancer. The Plymouth boys soccer team have raised more than $10,000 to donate directly to Miss Sharon Mackey, a beloved teacher who is currently on medical leave while fighting multiple forms of cancer. This remarkable achievement is made even more impactful by the outpouring of support from more than 60 Plymouth teachers who purchased special pink out t-shirts and attended the game to stand with Sharon. This event also saw participation from local youth soccer teams, further underscoring the sense of unity and compassion that defines the community. At this time, I'd like to invite varsity coach Glenn Ligorian, junior varsity coach Molly Meeks, and JV coach Kevin Collar to this podium to speak about the inspiring actions of the student athletes on these teams and the meaningful impact of their efforts.
Thank you, board members, for giving us a chance to honor our boys and bring a little bit of brag about what happened in this season. We had a lot of firsts this year: Balcony champs for the first time, Park champs for the first time, and along with my incredible staff of Molly Meeks and Kevin Collar, who just made it up here with his crutches, this season really achieved a lot of, like I said, a lot of these firsts, and especially around the Pink Out event. It's been a great honor for us to be able to raise awareness of the fights against cancer, and more importantly, help in raising those funds against the fight. Every year for the last 7 years, we've been doing this, and we've averaged about $4,000 a year in direct benefit to Plymouth families. But this year, it was a unique experience, a unique opportunity to help with Sharon Mackey and to raise over, as we said, over $10,000. For this incredible, the way that the families and the parents drove that event, off the field festivities, etc. It was really quite amazing to have that incredible atmosphere of community and camaraderie. I asked one of my players to say something. I think Garrett's going to come up, but I wanted to just say that no matter what our season record was or what trophies we earned, the opportunity to build on our team vision of want, work, win, and the values instilled by contributing to someone in need in our community has given us a team of incredible young men who will be an amazing contributors to our community in the future. I give you Garrett Bozic.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Garrett Bozic, and I was one of the captains for Plymouth Soccer this year. Alongside me is Will, Danny, Covey Barron, and J.R. Maitland. And when I think back to the Pink Out game, I realize how different my perspective was in the moment. At the time, I just thought of it as like a great way to help someone out in their battle with cancer. But looking back, I can see that it was so much bigger than that. We were part of something that could actually change Mrs. Mackey's life forever. It's really cool to think about how our school and community came together to raise thousands of dollars and show support for a teacher who's facing such a tough battle. It really wasn't about the game. It was about showing love and giving hope in a way that truly matters. I pray that Mrs. Mackey is doing well in her battle against cancer and that she'll overcome it. Even though I don't know her personally, it's clear to see that she is loved by so many people. Our community is rooting for her, and we care deeply about supporting her throughout this challenging season in her life. We just want to thank everyone who made the night possible. Whether you donated, organized, or just came out to support, it's amazing to see what we can accomplish as a community. We are grateful to have been a part of it. Thank you, and God bless.
You all can come up. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, it's a true privilege to present the Stars Award to varsity captains J.R. Matlin, Will Danny, Cavi Barrett, and Garrick Bazak on behalf of the Plymouth boys soccer teams. We wish Sharon Mackey the very best in her fight against cancer and hope for swift recovery so that she may return to doing what she loves most, teaching and inspiring the students of Plymouth High School. Congratulations on a well-deserved recognition. Your efforts have truly made a difference in the life of someone very dear to our school community. Please join us with Dr. Liz Vartanian Gibbs for photos in the hallway to commemorate this special occasion.
Did someone leave a bag under their chair? I see you all leaving it one. A personal item?
Yep, there you go. We can see it.
They're like that at practice. All right. We are going to move on to board committee reports and action, on to the president's report. So I do have a few things that I want to mention today. One, kind of a housekeeping item. It's that time of year where we are going to start requesting letters of intent or applications for community members to join our board level committees. So we have 4 board level committees for those who may not be aware. We have our Finance and Operations Committee. I say that first because I'm on it. Student Voice and Action Committee. We have Policy, and we also have Student Performance and Achievement. And each of those committees, we have community members that are representatives that actually support that committee. Typically, each committee can have up to 3 community members. And we will be posting this opportunity on the district website and accepting those applications in the month of December, and we'll likely hold interviews and selections in the month of January. There will be more details to follow as we iron out the exact timeline as when this will happen, but I did want to put this on everybody's radar because we really do want to invite anyone who wants to get involved in our committee, in each of our committees. So thank you for that, and please look out for that. Also, in the spirit of the Thanksgiving holiday, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our students, staff, parents, and community members of P-CCS. Students, thank you for continuing to inspire us all with your curiosity and determination every single day. To staff, I want to thank you for your consistent hard work and dedication to your craft that makes a lasting impact on our students. And to the parents and community members, thank you for your trust and partnership. So on behalf of the entire Board of Education, we will again say thank you, and we wish you a very happy and restful Thanksgiving holiday. And that concludes my president's report. On to Student Performance and Achievement Committee. And I know Anupam is not here, so Member Westra, do you mind taking over?
Madam President, we have not met since our last meeting. We meet again on December 4th at 5 p.m. in this room.
Great, thank you.
Short and sweet.
Nice. Okay, on to policy, the policy committee. And Amina, can you please provide an update?
Sure. We had a great meeting today, and our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 10th at 5:30 p.m. And I encourage community members to apply and submit their letters of intent to join the committee.
Okay, on to F&O with Member Kehoe.
So we did not meet for the last F&O meeting. It was scheduled for last Thursday, but we only have one item on the agenda. We are bringing that item forward on the agenda this evening for an emergency elevator down option to allow us to operate in the elevators to return to the first floor or to the normal floor in the event of an emergency. Our next F&O meeting will be Thursday, December 5th, here in this room at 5 p.m., and we welcome the community to join. And it is a pretty exciting committee, so if you have a financial or operational event, please come to one of the meetings, apply to one of the citizens' positions.
All right, and then last but not least, we have the Student Voice and Action Committee with Josh and Saeed.
At our last Student Voice and Action Committee meeting, we discussed having community members on the SVA committee, similar to how other board committees do. Then we received a presentation from Dr. Liz Vartanian-Gibbs on student and family engagement with the goal of gathering feedback for tonight. And then SVA members, we worked to secure them on other board committees, and we discussed our next steps in tackling and improving mental health and wellness across P-CCS.
And then our next meeting will be on December 16th from 4:30 to 5:30 in the Discovery Auditoria, and we hope to see you all there.
Wonderful, thank you both. Okay, on to administrative reports and recommendations. Dr. Merritt.
Thank you, President Christensen. I want to begin today by sharing the outstanding news that P-CCS elementary and middle schools were recognized for their excellence in the recently released U.S. News and World Report elementary and middle school rankings. These rankings recognize school achievements based on high proficiency in math and reading and language arts on our state assessments. All P-CCS elementary schools were recognized as high performing in the rankings, and all P-CCS middle schools were also among Michigan's top performers. I am super excited and pleased to report that once again, Gallimore Elementary was named Michigan's #1 top-ranked elementary school. That's right, Gallimore for the second year in a row is the #1 elementary school in the state of Michigan. So let's just congratulate all of our students, our staff, for this accomplishment. I think it's just amazing. I'm so grateful to our amazing teachers, our staff, our administrators for all the tremendous things you do to provide our students with this world-class education. We also have something to celebrate as it relates to a Heart Safe Schools designation that has gone out to all 3 of our high schools at PCEP as well as Tonda Elementary School. This work is recognized by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The program was created to honor schools that are prepared to provide the best possible response to a cardiac emergency. So it's a situation you never want to find yourselves in, but I'm very pleased that we are prepared and trained. We have been honored because we have faculty and staff that are trained to recognize cardiac emergencies. We have AEDs in place and have staff on site that are also trained for CPR. So these 4 schools join our 5 middle schools that are already recognized as Michigan Heart Safe Schools. So let's congratulate our nursing team. We try to continue and to applaud and amplify the work that they do across the district to really lead this work and provide training and support to help us get our staff trained for this. And I will also just end with the Thanksgiving wishes. I think of a time for gratitude right now. I just want to share my personal gratitude with our entire PCCS community. When we talk about it takes a village, it truly does, and we are gifted to be able and blessed to be able to care for our students each and every day, and no one can do it alone. So we're so appreciative of our dedicated teachers and our amazing administrators and our support staff, everyone that just steps in the gap to do what it takes to ensure that our students can learn, prepare, and thrive and get all of these accomplishments that we've been thinking and hearing about, thankful for. Our parents and our families for just entrusting us with your students' care. We don't take that lightly. And so in this season of gratitude, I just want to just say thank you for that. And I'm excited about as we wrap through this year, literally, we come back from Thanksgiving break, it'll be December the 2nd. School offices will be closed for the remainder of this week. I'm really encouraged about the year ahead. I talked last year about all of the accolades, but I think that we're already on track to begin to really exceed those accolades. And again, that is because of the community. So everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving break if you are traveling. We hope that you're traveling safely. Take that time to just love up on your loved ones because it's important. I'm gonna keep on going. So let's stop. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving. That's it. I was gonna say something, a little quote that I heard, but I think I'll save it for later. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Merritt. Okay, we are on to student and family engagement with Dr. Liz Vartanian-Gibbs.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Merritt. It is my honor to share the work of the Department of Student and Family Engagement with you. Over the past year, our department has focused on strengthening community partnerships, enhancing family engagement initiatives, and expanding student support services. Allow me to highlight a few key accomplishments. Our focus is aligned with all the strategic goals of the P-CCS dynamic plan with specific objectives and strategies aligned to the work of our department. I am fortunate to work with a caring, highly motivated, and professional team. Members of my team include Kathy Grotus, Mental Health Manager, Patrice Williams, Nurse Manager, Sierra Marshall, Nurse Specialist, Jennifer Beck and Eric Stamper, Teacher Engagement Specialist, Lillian Lucas Jones, and Mile Merritt, Family Liaison. As a team, we strive to provide students what they need for their overall development, which includes academic, physical, emotional, social, and cognitive needs. Wraparound services are an essential component of our work. Our department has provided support for over 525 families in the last 2.5 years. We are able to provide services such as clothing, toiletries, access to food pantries, beds, dental appointments, mental health support, vision screening, and eyeglasses. Wraparound forms are completed for students who are struggling with chronic absences. As you know, we place a specific focus on our attendance process for this school year. Consistent procedures have allowed all administrators tools for working with students when they are absent. Referrals for wraparound services come from the staff of Plymouth Canton's community schools. Family Academy program is a comprehensive component of our department. We have planned over 75 Family Academy sessions and presentations this school year for our parents and guardians to provide them with tools, resources, information. Our goal is to empower parents and guardians to be the best version of themselves. I would like to share some of these sessions we are having this school year. My Grown Up and Me, Language and Higher Order Thinking Skills. Participants will have hands-on experiences with various types of materials promoting language development, higher order thinking, and cognitive development. Activities are designed to strengthen development in higher order thinking skills. Family yoga brings the whole family together for mindfulness, movement, relaxation, and fun. We have also designed a program called Nurturing Little Minds for parents and guardians of children birth through 5 years old. We are placing a specific focus on narrowing achievement gaps that exist among children by the start of kindergarten, as well as introducing families to our school district. The Birth Through 5 program, Nurturing Little Minds, aims to provide parents and guardians with resources specific to helping each child reach their full potential. Our community partners provide consistent support for students and families in Plymouth Canton Community Schools. We have over 300 partnerships in our district, and I would like to share some examples with you. The P-CCS Clothing Bank supports students and families by providing free clothing. Last school year, they provided 600 pairs of pants, 600 shirts, and thousands of other items. The Penn Theater generously hosts every family presentation night at no cost. The United Way supported a toiletry drive for our department and provided over 100 backpacks filled with school supplies. The Woodside Bible Church also provided 100 backpacks filled with school supplies and Thanksgiving meals for many families in our district. Giving Hope Circle and the Plymouth Kiwanis Club made a monetary donation to support wraparound services. We work with the nursing students from Schoolcraft College and University of Michigan to provide the students with placements in our district. P-CCS school nurses educate college students and provide best practices for managing chronic health conditions. We partner with numerous mental health and wellness agencies also. Our healthcare teams work to ensure P-CCS students' chronic and acute health needs are met, as well as promote overall health and wellness in our classrooms, schools, and communities. We believe students must be healthy to be educated and must be educated to be healthy. For school nurses, this looks like coordinating care for our students with chronic illnesses, taking care of the daily scrapes and bruises, ensuring students who are ill are not in school, but those who are well enough remain in school, developing protocols to respond to communicable diseases, safely administering medications in school, and training staff to support health and safety guidelines for schools. Since school nurses cannot do this work alone, we rely on healthcare teams, which consist of 2 nursing administrators, 13 school nurses, 7 healthcare technicians, and a nurse paraprofessional. These teams allow for coverage in our clinics, and when a healthcare team member is absent, our office staff have been fully trained to support our students. In the 24-25 school year, our K-8 nurses are managing 1,263 health plans, which is up from the 22-23 school year where we had 888 health plans. High school nurses manage care coordination for over 600 students with significant medical diagnosis. School nurses develop individualized health plans for students who require medical support and/or accommodations during the school day in order to provide equal access to education without limitations. Since the spring of 2023, the school nurses have certified over 484 staff members in American Heart Association Heart Saver CPR AED, and in December they will certify 150 CTE students. Understanding that sudden cardiac death can impact anyone with a heart, our nurses have partnered with athletics to add 7 AED units, including outdoor units around our campus. We also received an AED unit from the National Football League, and currently we have 57 units throughout our district. Dr. Merritt already spoke about the My Heart Safe designation. I was going to share a little bit about that with you, but what I do want to share is that this school year, our remaining 13 elementary schools, Allen, the Goals program, and Starkweather will all apply for the certification. So I'm going to speak about the picture on the left. This is called the Unite Arrive Alive Tour, which 170 P-CCS students participated in. They were involved with this high-tech simulator and an impact video and a number of other resources that educated our students about the dangers of texting and driving, drinking while driving, and using marijuana while driving. And this took place in the auto area at Canton High School. There are numerous mental health initiatives in place to support our students. The Reliant Student Life Advisor Program provides students with immediate mental health support regardless of insurance status. Each student can receive 5 free therapy sessions per issue with coordination of additional care if needed. Since September 2023, Reliance has completed 78 new patient intakes and 193 care coordination cases for our students. New Hope Grief Center supports students and families coping with loss and grief, which often can be a barrier to learning. The program offers individual grief support as well as group grief support. Oh, Kathy Grotus would be so mad. I must go back because she's not here right now. I apologize for that. We received the Priority Health Grant for an emotional support dog. The dog will live with Kathy Grotus and will come to work with her every day once it is trained. She will receive the dog in December, and the dog will offer emotional comfort and support to students during stressful times. We also launched our alternative to suspension program called Self-Care and Prevention to empower P-CCS students with knowledge on health and safety, focusing on alcohol, substance use, vaping, and other drugs. Students attend weekly on Wednesday during advisory period. There are active discussions taking place, and we look at the student feedback and their surveys to adjust the program for the next card marking. We will have 4 of them this school year. Okay, here's some pictures of some engagement opportunities. On the left, the P-CCS dance team was at the Cherry Hill Village Theater. The middle picture is when we accepted the AED from the National Football League at the Plymouth High School game. And the picture on the right is Kevin Fisher, who is the Executive Director of National Alliance on Mental Health Illness for Michigan, and he presented to our parents at the Penn Theater a couple of weeks ago. The team also supports students every single day in this district in the classroom. Our classroom support helps students individually and in small groups stay actively involved in their lessons while deepening their grasp of key concepts through personalized assistance. As dedicated mentors, we guide students throughout the school day, offering both academic and personal support. Drawing on our understanding of individual student challenges, we partner with them to successfully navigate their educational journey. Our early childhood program is at 8 locations in our district. We have programming for 3 and 4-year-olds with a variety of options for families, and currently there are 420 students enrolled in our program. So we've implemented a tutoring program in our district, and the funds came from 11T and 21B, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. K-8 students with a score in the 20th percentile or lower on the reading and math fall 23 NWEA were invited to the P-CCS tutoring program. So all of those students were invited. The program, which I shared with you, was funded by a grant. Students were invited to tutoring twice a week for an hour each time. We provided tutoring to 187 students in reading and 203 students in math. This took place from January through July 2024. The NWEA Fall 24 results indicated that 66% of our students tutored in reading met their growth expectation, and 67% of students tutored in mathematics met their growth expectation on the NWEA. Parents and guardians also shared some of their feedback on the tutoring program, and 86% of the parents and guardians indicated that tutoring services provided were beneficial for their child, and 88% of parents and guardians indicated they were satisfied with the outcome of the tutoring program. Data from the tutoring program demonstrated a positive impact on student success and growth. And as you know, tutoring was just one intervention for these students because they received many interventions during the school day at their school. My team hopes you can join us at the 4th Annual Mental Health and Wellness Fair, April 25th, 2025. It's a key event that connects students, families, and communities with essential mental health and wellness resources. Last year, we welcomed over 3,800 attendees and featured over 110 mental health and wellness organizations. Thanks to our generous contributions of our sponsors, the event is offered at no cost, ensuring it remains accessible to everyone in our district and neighboring communities. So I would like to thank you for your time this evening. The Department of Student and Family Engagement understands that there are challenging times for students and their families. We remain steadfastly committed to supporting and ensuring every student has the opportunity to thrive. We believe in the potential of every student and the strength of all of our families. And I am ready to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually going to open up questioning to our student co-chairs, starting with Ms. Pawar.
Yeah, I have a question about the Uliance program. So are students to reach out directly to that program, or do they get in contact with their counselors, or how does that process work?
Sure. So the Uliance Student Life Advisor Program is available for all of our students K-12. And there is a phone number, a 1-800 number, that a student would call with their parent and guardian, and they would begin the process. It's called an intake process. And anyone can call in our district, any parent or guardian of a student kindergarten through 12th grade. And once they begin the intake process, the counselor on the phone will connect you with another counselor, and you will begin your 5 free sessions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Saeed.
I just had one question on the tutoring where we tutored students that were identified through the NWEA. Were they tutored by, who were they tutored by, guys?
Sure. So they were tutored by P-CCS teachers, and then when we had no more teachers left, because we invited every teacher who wanted to tutor, we partnered with 3 businesses in our community: College Tutors, Mathnasium, and Huntington Learning Center.
Thank you.
On to Member Ahmed.
I also had a question about the tutoring program. So you indicated that it's grant funded. Is there a chance that the grant will be renewed, or what will happen in terms of the students in the program after the grant is over?
So the grants that were used for this program have ended. 11T funding needed to be spent by September 30th. What's 23B? 23B needed to be spent by last year.
Yep.
Yeah, so both grants have ended.
Yep. Those were, 11T was part of the ESSER funding from COVID, from the COVID pandemic, and then 23B was so that was a federal funding, and then 23B was a state-funded program. So it was for 2 years to help with pandemic recovery as well.
Thank you.
Member Picard?
Yeah, so for the wraparound program, is that something that's referred out then, like for the dental and all that? So how
Sure.
do they do that?
So, so I'll just, since you mentioned dental, I will talk about that. We have dentists in our community that will actually provide free teeth cleaning and examinations for students. And so we know who they are and we connect with them. And so for glasses, Henry Ford in Plymouth, the new one that's at Ann Arbor Road in Hagerty, they will provide so many free eye exams per month, as well as a set of glasses for students. So we sort of know where everybody is. And I'm so glad you asked that question, because everyone we ask always says yes. No one has ever said no. And even if it's the smallest donation, they still say yes.
Okay. Yeah, and then for the health plans, is that for the nurses, for the, well, I might find it here. Sorry, I had it up. For the health plans with the nurses and that, is that something that they coordinate with the doctors of the students? Or?
Sure. So they, first of all, the parent or guardian would notify through MyStar that there is a health concern. It could be an allergy, it could be asthma, the student could have diabetes, and everything is coordinated together through the parent, through the doctor, through the school nurse, and then the staff that needs to know will also have access to that health plan.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Member Kehoe?
So first, I want to thank you for this presentation. I mean, these are really valuable services. Sometimes we look at the things that we do and we're focused so much on the test scores and the reading and the writing and the arithmetic, which are important. But if students don't have clothing, if they don't have vision, if they don't have the things that they need to be successful, then it's hard for them to be successful in school. And I think that the collaboration that we do with our community is a testament to how this program really works and helps to support those students to make sure they have what they need. So first, I want to thank you for that and the comprehensive review that you brought forward. I did have a question on the tutoring and the budget process. I know that this was grant funded before. I know we go through the our transformation process for the budget, and that programs that have been successful, we try to prioritize those in the work that we're doing. Those that we don't have the resources to support may fall below the line. I guess my question is, it seems like when we look at the data around this program, it seems to have been pretty successful for us in driving outcomes. But I also recognize that we're in a challenging resourcing perspective. Where does this fall in our priorities of the work that we're at?
So as we look at all of the tutoring and all of the additional intervention resources and stuff, as we were looking last year, we were trying to get this data out, and you're also seeing growth data. Remember, you're seeing growth data, so there's multiple pieces that come together with that as well, not just one in isolation. But as we're looking at all of our funding, all of our grant funding and those types of things, we prioritize top to bottom and continue to look for additional grant funds as well.
Right.
So for example, we have something called 23G, My Kids Back on Track, that we're looking at using for the additional summer programming and different things. This year we were waiting to see also what some of the budget came out from the state to look like, and now we're already starting our process for the remainder of this year and into next year to look at what do we need to prioritize, what can we continue to do based on the funding that we have. So we know that this year was kind of a little bit of a rocky year with how the funding was coming out of the state and a lot of uncertainties. But as we look ahead now, we're also getting more solid numbers coming out. We just are getting some of our grant funding numbers now. But to your point, what we're doing is we are prioritizing what makes the greatest impact as well, and we work together collaboratively to do that.
So at this point, this particular program, as part of our budget process, was not funded for this next year. There may be, or for this current year. There may be opportunities with other grants where this could get funded, or there may be programs that are resulting in a higher return that would be funded as part of the process.
Correct, because the line item amount for this too, I think, was around $400,000 for the tutoring programs that did take place. So as we look at all of the numbers, crunching numbers, looking ahead to determine biggest bang for the buck. Right?
So we got a substantial surge in resources as part of the COVID funding and the learning loss stuff, that this is one of those things that we have to balance in what we're doing. But it's also an opportunity for us as school board members to advocate with
Yes.
our legislature that we need more funding, because these are
Mhm.
programs that have I don't want to pick and choose the programs.
Correct.
We'll let you
Yep.
make the recommendations. But when we have these programs that we have fallen below the line, we don't have the resources for, but
Mhm.
make a difference in almost 400 students' lives,
Yes.
that's something we want to make sure that we're advocating for and something that we need.
Absolutely, because if you remember correctly, with the ESSER funds, it was $10 million over 2 years, so $5 million each year, as well as the 23G was around $1 million as well,
Okay.
so,
Great. Thank you for the
Yep.
context.
thanks.
Secretary Westrow.
I want to thank you very much for presenting this and tying all the pieces together. I think what I assumed family and student and family services was the tip of the iceberg. So thank you for, there's a huge amount of impact here to our students and to our families. My question is mainly, a lot of my questions have already been answered, but around the wraparound services, I've talked to a couple of people lately that aren't aware that those services are available or aren't sure how to get access to those services. Who do they contact? And how do we get the word out?
Sure. So our department puts together a newsletter monthly, and we send it to every single parent and guardian in our district. And so if you know anyone in our district who is asking about wraparound services, just say to them, did you just get the newsletter that was sent on Monday? And all our information is right on there. They can just email me right back.
Okay.
Parents email me all the time once I send this newsletter out to 21,000 people. But that would be the way we will help anyone that calls us and has a need.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do also have a question. Thank you so much for the presentation. I agree with a lot of my fellow colleagues' comments. But on slide number 9, around health and wellness, you mentioned, kind of following up on Member Picard's question too, that there are the number of health plans that that have happened for this school year. So we have 1,263 health plans, K-8. And you mentioned that that's up from last
Yes.
year. I think prior year you mentioned a number maybe around 800. So how are we, I think at the kind of the board level, oftentimes we say, do we have what we need to support our students? So if we're seeing that exponential growth in health plans, are health care teams able to support that growth, or how are we providing that?
So over time, I'm just going to look at the last 10 years, we have grown our healthcare team program. And I'm very thankful for the funding that has been put in place to support our healthcare teams. So if we are able to keep everyone we have moving forward, we are in a great place.
Okay.
We just work together
Okay.
all the time. So we just have to keep everybody in place. I'm advocating for that. But we have grown the staff here, and I'm so thankful for that. And they work really hard. It's a phenomenal team of people on the healthcare team.
Okay. Great, thank you. And then, Josh, did you have another question?
Yeah, just one more question. It's slipping my mind. But so I guess while I'm waiting, there on one of the program slides was a suicide prevention training thing. Is that for just teachers and staff, or is that for students as well?
So we are consistently providing opportunities on suicide prevention. We have provided training to students during their health classes. We have also provided training to parents and guardians. It's something we do all the time. So we'll just be doing it consistently all the time. It's so important that people recognize the signs.
Thank you. And then my other question, not really a question actually, but have you considered, there's, especially at PSEP, there's programs like Link Crew and NHS that do tutoring. Have you considered reaching out to them to also kind of, you could keep the program going of tutoring kids, just not funded by, or put forward by teachers and other groups, but by PSEP students?
Sure. So Jennifer Beck and Eric Stamper, who are the teacher engagement specialists, have presented to our parents and guardians everything they can do when they need to support their students. And within that program, we have put together a document of all the tutoring resources that are free, as well as the ones that are paid for that we know about. And so NHS, as well as everything that's available at PSEP, as well as Link Crew, and what's available at at our libraries is provided to our families.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to share, I thought maybe Josh was going to share. At SVA, they had an opportunity to vet the presentation, and the students led a great conversation that goes back to Member Wester's, how do we get the information out, just even about students, saying, okay, our students aren't always going to read their emails. So they were talking about ways that maybe, you want to talk about that, Josh, using
Sure.
Canva or?
So we were talking social media, and then another great idea that was brought forward was a Canvas page for all P-CCS students to see on their Canvas homepage, because every student, middle school to high school, is most likely using Canvas at least once in their day. So if they see that and they get, if there's a Canvas notification, most students get emails on their phone or emails, notifications on their phone. Like if it is in Canvas, it blows up everywhere, so you see it.
That was creative ideas on how to further get out all of these resources, because there's so much available, and even when we send out so much information, people don't always know what we have.
And that's a good use because a lot of parents also check Canvas.
Good. Before I end this evening, I just want to recognize that 2 of my members who are not at Kroger shopping did show up this evening. So Sierra Marshall and Jennifer Beck, if you guys could stand up, they're on my team. Thank you, guys. And my rest of my team, their heart is right here. They just can't be here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are now moving on to finance and operations. I know Ms. Minnick is not here, so I believe we're kicking it over to Mr. Tiskowitz.
Good evening. Before you tonight, we have a recommendation for the purchase and installation of district-wide emergency elevator lowering systems. Through our ADA work, through our audit, we have identified the need to add emergency elevator lowering systems to all district elevators. These systems automatically respond to power outages by lowering the elevator to the main floor and opening the elevator doors in the event of a power outage. Currently, none of our district elevators have this device, and we've identified the need to add these to our current elevators. Currently, we have 2 elevators at Canton High School, 3 at Plymouth High School, 1 at Salem, 1 at Liberty, 1 at West, and 1 at the Board of Education here in this building. The scope of this work would include the installation and tie-in of these emergency lowering systems to the elevators by Kone Elevator, who is currently our elevator service provider, and total amount of $130,011.12, which would be funded by either the general fund or capital improvement fund. And I can take any questions you might have.
Okay, I'll start over with Saeed.
I have no questions, but this sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
Josh?
Just one question. I want to make sure the math is mathing. So we're getting 6 elevator upgrades, I guess. And I think you said we have more than 6 elevators. So how is that working?
We have 9, actually. There are 6 at the high schools.
Oh, all right.
So there's 2 at Canton High School, 3 at Plymouth, and 1 at Salem. And then the other is at Liberty, West, and here.
So then are we just upgrading PSEPs currently?
We would do all of them. That includes all of the buildings.
Thank you.
Member Ahmed?
I just have a question on the maintenance of these. So is the purchase including any warranty or maintenance?
It does, yes, yeah. And Kone is has our maintenance contract for all of our elevators.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Hart?
I don't have any questions.
All right, Member Kehoe?
So, Pilot Drive is a new building that we have, and I believe it's got 2 floors. Does it have an elevator?
I'm sorry?
Pilot Drive?
Pilot Drive?
No,
At Pilot Drive, there is a very small second floor. You just take the stairs to go up it.
Okay, great. So we
And
don't
it's
have
It's
not
a
accessible
storage
to the
area.
public.
Yeah,
It's a storage area.
perfect.
with a high-low.
Just making sure that,
Yep.
that we're covering all the facilities. And then related question was to Member Ahmed's is On the maintenance perspective, we need to make sure that we include this in a regular review and maintenance because these batteries can wear out over time.
Correct.
And we need to make sure that they're continued to be tested.
One of the other things that we've identified is really a need a more robust maintenance agreement with Kone, and that's something that we're going to look for in the future as well.
Excellent, thank you. As we've talked about here at the board table, there's been a comprehensive work that the district has done around that accessibility process, and this is one of those things that was a gap that was identified and something we didn't want to wait. So we're not doing this as part of a bond program or anything else. This is something that we want to get taken care of right away in this process. So.
And as a follow-up to that, the next step after board approval, it will go to the state for approval, and then Kone will be given the certification to go ahead and start the project.
Great, thank you.
About how long will this take to get done once it's approved?
We anticipate, depending on the time for the equipment to be purchased and installation, once we get the equipment, it'll probably take approximately a week.
So, is that like a week from after we do the final review, or?
No, once the board approves the purchase, then it will go to the state for approval, and then once the state approves it, then Kone will start the process to get it going.
Okay. Is it something that would be good to do as a first and final? I mean, because it seems like a pretty important thing. It's safety related.
It is, but I think it's going to take longer. From what I understand, it's going to take longer with the state to get this done.
Okay.
And we actually brought this was originally going to be in the December meeting.
Okay.
But we said we wanted to bring this forward to give a chance to have a first and second read for the full board here.
Okay.
But thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Just following up on the warranty question that Member Ahmed asked, I know that was around the actual system to lower the elevators in case of power outage. Does this void or harm any existing warranties that we have with our
No.
elevators, or it
No,
complies? It
because
would be-
currently the elevators do not possess this equipment,
Mhm.
and so it'll be an addition to them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are on to action item number 25-11-35. Consider approval of a resolution for a fire alarm system expansion for Allen Early Learning Academy. This is a final reading. Can I please have a motion?
Madam President, I move that we consider approval of a resolution for a fire alarm system expansion at Allen Early Learning Academy. This is the final reading, action item 25-11-35.
Can I have a second?
Second it.
Okay, it was moved by Treasurer Kehoe and seconded by Member Picard. We did have a first read last meeting. Does anyone have any follow-up questions or comments on this? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote. Those in favor, please say yes.
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 Yes. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, on to teaching and learning with Ms. Rail.
Yep, and for tonight, we have two new course proposals for your review. I'm going to kind of do them together and then talk about them separately because they're very similar in nature. These are both one-semester visual and performing arts elective courses. They are non-performance music courses. So one is called The Evolution of Music, and the P-CCS music team brought this forward, looking at student feedback and enrollment requests. And the requests have indicated that students are looking for something that can help earn VAPA credit, but it has a different spin on rather than a performance-based music course. In this course, Evolution of Music, students engage in innovative experiences and they explore how music changes over time. So historical aspects, cultural aspects, and societal events. And then they look at this through melody, harmony, rhythm, and how that impacts global society and how global societies impact music. So it's kind of a nice tie-in together with historical aspects around music and helps students better appreciate music from around the world and how it all interconnects together. Total proposed cost for this course is $640, and that's cost for course development, to have a staff member either released have a substitute come in and release the teacher, or have some cost for the teacher to develop the course. So that's the first one. So I'll answer any questions you might have about that one, and then I'll move to the second.
Starting over with Saeed. Any questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
I also have no questions. Sounds like a fun course. Thank you.
Thanks.
Member Ahmed?
No questions, thank you.
Member Picard?
No questions, thanks.
Or Treasurer Kehoe?
I love the fact that this is student feedback and enrollment requests. So this is something that we're hearing directly from our students as to wanting to offer this course, and that we found a creative way to do this with relatively low cost. So I love the innovation.
Secretary Westra?
We had a robust discussion about this class in SPA, so I have no further questions, but I want to echo what Member Kehoe said about it being good innovation and student-led.
Yeah, sounds really cool. I have no questions either, so thank you.
Yep, and I'll say kudos to Kathy Williams and the VAPA team for bringing that forward, as well as the next one. And by the way, Mr. Carr is here tonight, and Ms. Williams, in case we do have any other additional questions that they need to answer as well. So the next one is called Soundscapes, Composing and Arranging, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about music composition and arrangement of music. So looking at either creating new musical scores or rearranging those that already exist to become something new. So it's about innovating through music, using digital platforms, digital tools, hands-on projects, collaborative work, you name it. And it's looking at other aspects of music and how students can enjoy and engage in music in different ways. Examples would include digital composition using note flight software, blending pieces of acoustic and digital music together, using Soundtrap software to create something that doesn't exist yet. So it's a really exciting course. And the proposed total course cost would be $1,814. That includes materials for the courses, so digital subscriptions and some percussion instruments, small-scale percussion instruments, as well as the development cost for the course itself of $640. So all total, $1,814 to create this new course. So again, I'll open it up for any questions that you might have.
Saeed?
So just to clarify, students would compose music using like digital methods and tangible instruments as well?
That's a well put, yes.
Thank
Perfectly accurate.
I'll have to find room in my schedule because this sounds like right up my alley.
Yep. Well, if we get it approved by the board, we would launch it next fall, so you're good to go.
Thank you. Sounds great.
Yep, thanks.
Member Ahmed?
No questions, just really appreciate the creativity around the development of this.
Member Picard?
No, I have no questions, but it sounds pretty interesting and fun.
Treasurer Kehoe?
On the digital subscription, is that a one-year subscription or is that a perpetual subscription?
So I believe they're 1 year, and then we have budget in our digital subscriptions budgets that is aligned for things like this for recurring costs.
Okay,
So,
so
yep,
we're looking at the initial cost is relatively low, and
Yes.
even the ongoing cost
Yes.
is $700 a year,
Correct.
a year if
Yep.
we wanted to continue doing this.
yep. And some of these softwares we already have, and so we also, every year, at the end of the year, look at all of the digital subscriptions we have to determine their usage, the value, and then we also can move things around as need be. So we always make room for new things and create a little space for innovation.
And Josh, my suggestion to you is what I've done, is take summer school classes to free up space so that you can take the awesome classes that we offer at PSEP.
Secretary Westra?
I have no questions. I wanted to ask about the subscriptions as well, but
Thank you.
thank you.
I have no questions either. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay, so that concludes teaching and learning, and we're moving on to citizens' comments. It looks like we have a couple here. First up is Natalie Sharp. Oh, do we?
Pardon me?
Oh, we have that
Oh,
as
yep.
citizen.
Yep,
Sorry.
yep, yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, did I miss it?
No, it's just in the order.
Yeah, the order's wrong. Oh, I'm okay. Okay, so
Okay.
citizens' comments, yes.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sharp. You guys might know me as the girl who talks about bikes and biking in schools and advocating for bikes, but today I'm taking my citizens' comments to address something totally different. Respect. More importantly, respect of property. Now, let me preface what I'm about to say by saying that I have great regard for our district, and I'm not trying to criticize. I'm merely pointing out what I have personally seen. And as a P-CCS grad myself, I want this district to do better. Here's the deal. As a substitute teacher, I've seen other districts. I've seen charter schools and private schools, and I hate to say it, but our facilities are lacking. And it's not like they're lacking in the way you'd think, like in the actual facilities, but in cleanliness. And I think a great deal of that is attributed to the student respect. How is it that a 50-plus-year-old middle school in Livonia looks spotless compared to our not even 10-year-old Liberty Middle School in Canton? And look, we can blame the privatization of the janitors all we want, but I think it's time we stop blaming the adults and start teaching the kids to own up to this and respect their school. I think the dynamic plan should include more about respecting property. I think with all this SEL and all this stuff we teach about feelings, as much as that's great, I never hear anything about respecting property, and I think that's just as important. We need to emphasize this. I've seen how students act, and some of them are great, but I can tell you that they don't all treat their school with respect. Our children are our future. Our bond has done great work, but let's keep it that way. As a substitute who's seen 50 buildings, 5 districts, charter schools, private schools, and every single P-CCS building, my observation and message here is very simple. A lot of our students don't respect property, and I just encourage our teachers, parents, administrators, and the board to just think about more ways to cultivate respect for the resources and property that our district has. I believe this very simple idea and initiative could help our schools a lot and help our schools and community thrive for generations to come. So thank you. That's all I have to say. I'll be back again to talk about bikes again, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you very much. Next is Brandy Regal. Hope I'm saying that correctly.
Thank you very much for lending me your ears tonight. I'm a clinical associate professor at the University of Michigan at the College of Pharmacy, and I just realized I'm much more comfortable presenting with PowerPoint slides. But for tonight, I'm here as a citizen. I've been a Plymouth resident for 13 years, and my theme is class size matters, and I wanted to give you some context on that. My wife Janice and I have been guardians for our now 7-year-old granddaughter, Rosie. Rosie's father passed away 2.5 years ago from complications from brain cancer and COVID, and we've been watching her ever since. During those 3 years, for context, she's been in pre-kindergarten at Smith and kindergarten and first grade at Byrd Elementary, and we have had fantastic experiences both with the teachers and the administrators all 3 years. That said, what I wanted to talk about tonight was when we realized that in Rosie's first grade class, there were 27 students, and apparently in the other 2 Byrd Elementary classes, there's 26 and 27 respectively. So her class is in proportion. But last year when she was in kindergarten, there were 23 students, and she had 2 assistants and a student teacher in addition to Mrs. Kiger. And Mrs. McDonald's a great teacher, but we said to ourselves, 27-to-1 sounds like a very high ratio. We did some cursory research. We found that in the bylaws for P-CCS, it's promulgated that for grades 1 through 3, there should be no more than 25 students per class. We looked at the website for P-CCS, and on the website, it states that the student-to-teacher ratios are usually between 18-to-1 and 20-to-1. And then we did sort of a friends and family survey of teachers that we knew in the family and friends. Owasso, first grade, 18 students. Birmingham, second grade, 22 students. Walled Lake, second grade, 23 students. Wayne Westland was the outlier. First grade had 29. Now remember, our number is 27. So we were definitely on the high side. So I think we're all aware of the ramifications of high student-teacher ratios. My wife Janice is going to talk a little bit more about the data with regards to that. But I have 2 rhetorical questions for the board. One is, how do you feel about student-teacher ratios exceeding those that you promulgate in your own goals? And my second question is, are you willing to consider ways to improve on that ratio? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And up next is Janice Riegel.
Hi. Being a guardian and watching your child go through school again is an eye-opener, and you learn for the first time, if you say nothing, nothing can change. And to us, it just seems a crazy number. And at first, I thought there were like 23, 24. Then I get her birthday, it's 27. And then I thought, well, there's an assistant. There's nobody. It's one teacher and 27 7- and 8-year-olds. And so I started doing my own research and found since even the 80s, and there were several studies, and one was showing classes where they were 15-1. And what they did in these test groups were, they stayed in the same district, in the same schools, and things like that. They kept their normal classroom size to that. And one of the things they found was the ones with the 15-1 ratios, these students tested as if they had 3 more months of school by doing something like that, which says a lot. The other thing they said was teacher burnout. How do you retain a teacher from burnout with 27 kids in it? We all know we're facing a teacher shortage as new teachers are leaving the profession within 5 years, which brought up another point these studies showed, was that the more experienced teachers, there was a big difference with an experienced teacher to a new teacher. So right when this new teacher is getting the experience to work with this class, she's leaving, or he or she is leaving. So I thought that was a real important thing. And the smaller class size in K through 3, what it showed was that it gave such a foundation, it affected through graduation. That number, it just wasn't K through 3, it was through the graduation. And I started looking, I'm not picking on this person, it was because I was able to look up an interview, and they talked about interaction with parents and the board and things. There are grumblings. People are upset about these class sizes. And as a parent, I remember when my kids were young, grumblings can turn into a roar. I think back in athletics, when a person feels their kid is not getting their share of time, it goes from something little and it turns into something big. And I think if this doesn't change soon, I believe, I think this little grumbling is going to start getting bigger, because I do hang out at the playground with the kids and pick up Rosie, and I hear what other parents are saying. They aren't upset with teachers, they're upset with class size.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes citizens' comments. Okay, we're moving on to action items. So we have an action item or a resolution that was brought forward by Member Sadoo. So this is consider approval of a resolution of support, protect MI Kids bill package to address the lack of effective statewide tobacco prevention policies. So this is a first reading. Each board member received the resolution via email. I know there was a hard copy that was also sent around. There's a portion of that resolution at the end that we can modify if we'd like. So I just want to open it up to some discussion or any recommendations that anyone may have. I know, actually, Josh, you brought forward something that you wanted to share with the board, so I'll start with you.
Yes, so I put together in the middle paragraph, everyone should have a sheet of paper with some information on it. The middle paragraph is some information stats-wise on teens and e-cigarettes and tobacco products. The top paragraph kind of summarizes all the bills that are talked about in that document, and then the bottom paragraph is kind of something that you could put towards the end in the section where it just is left blank on student, the danger that this poses to students. So I'll give you, if you haven't looked over it yet, a minute to look over that. And if you have any questions for me or anything, feel free to ask.
Sure. I'm also wondering because, you know, our community can't really see this. This is a copy that we have or something that we're posting. Do you mind reading what you sent to us? I mean, it's quite
Sure.
lengthy if you're
So,
okay with it.
I'll read it. So Michigan Senate Bills 647 to 654 address various aspects of tobacco and nicotine regulation. Bill 647 grants local areas the authority to enact additional regulations beyond existing laws. Bill 648 define e-cigarettes and introduce new taxes on their sale. Bill 649 and 650 ban the sale of flavored tobacco products that have distinct flavors or smells apart from nicotine or tobacco. Bills 651 and 652 mandate in-person verification of photographic ID before selling tobacco or nicotine products with fines for violations and funds collected from these penalties being allocated to specific purposes to tackle these issues. Finally, Bills 653 and 654 impose community service, potential training, or health courses and fines on minors found purchasing or possessing tobacco or nicotine products. So that's the first paragraph, kind of a summary of that document in the bills. The second paragraph with some information stats-wise. The 2023 Michigan Youth Tobacco Survey conducted by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services reveals that 16.5% of Michigan high school students currently use tobacco, with 13.7% using e-cigarettes or vapes. This rate of e-cigarette use among Michigan youth is slightly below the national average of 14.1%, which is good, but like obviously not good in the overall scheme of things. Alarmingly, 55.6% of youth report trying e-cigarettes for the first time at an age of 13 or younger. Additionally, 20% of young Americans mistakenly believe e-cigarettes are harmless and non-addictive, despite the well-documented health risks and proven addiction potential associated with these products. So that's kind of some information I found, not necessarily tying to those bills, but kind of showing why it's important. And then to kind of sum those bills and then some of that information at the end is the last paragraph. Vaping poses significant health risks for teenagers, as their bodies and brains are still developing. Nicotine, a primary ingredient in most e-cigarettes, can interfere with the brain development, leading to potential long-term effects on attention, learning, mood regulation, and impulse control. Teenagers who vape are also at an increased risk for addiction, as nicotine can create a dependency in the developing brain. Additionally, studies show that vaping can harm the lungs, causing irritation and inflammation, and may increase the risk of respiratory issues, such as coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. There's also evidence linking vaping to an elevated risk of cardiovascular problems, such as an increased risk for heart attacks, as it can raise heart rate and blood pressure. Beyond nicotine, many e-cigarette liquids contain harmful chemicals, some of which are known to be toxic when inhaled. The risks associated with vaping are serious, especially for adolescents whose health and development are particularly vulnerable, and these bills are a key step in protecting our kids. Sorry, so that's a lot of information, but
I appreciate you reading it. I know, thank you for just putting a lot of thought into this resolution and sharing some of your additional research over that. So thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
I'll open it up to any of my fellow board members who would like to speak about the resolution or about what Josh shared. Member Ahmed, do you want to start?
I don't have anything at this time, except that I really appreciate Josh putting together those statistics, and they're quite alarming. Thank you.
Okay. Member Picard.
Yes, I was just concerned because I didn't know, like, we have resolutions already posted on our board, and I kind of wonder if we should have a policy first on, like, do we make resolutions like that, you know, against laws, and as a board, and like how long do those resolutions stay posted on our board? Because some of those are like from 2020, and you have a changeover of board members, and even though it states on time on there, because I think we need to kind of stay in our lane with, I mean, everybody can fight this. I think it's great to make people aware that these bills are out there and that parents and people in public can protest or, you know, send information to their senators, but I, you know, we have a policy on this, and as a district, I think our focus is really kind of enforcing our policy and making sure because there's so many things that affect children, like alcohol and all those things. And as long as we enforce our policies and make sure that these things aren't in our schools and help do that, I kind of think that's kind of where we should keep our focus. Without a policy on how we do these resolutions, because we could do many resolutions on many things, and like how many of these do we take the time to go over, or at least we could at least announce that they're happening and that people can be aware of them. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm just, because I find other things that are also harmful to students that we don't seem to, that we actually promote, and so I kind of have feels kind of conflict of interest in some ways.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer Kehoe.
So I appreciate the process and how this came forward. My understanding is that Trustee Sadhu brought this forward as something for the board to consider. There was a sponsor, another board member, that also wanted to bring this forward to discuss. From my perspective, we have an opportunity and a duty to advocate with our legislatures to the things that we think that would make things better for us. We do this on a regular basis with many topics and many actions. We see sometimes these things come to us fully baked in terms of these resolutions. This is one that is very complicated, and I commend Josh for the outstanding job of pulling together all the specific details and crystallizing it in a really succinct set of paragraphs to address this. So I think that this is a good thing for us to do. This is a vote that we have as a board, and it does reflect what we as a board believe at that moment. And so that is the process that happens from a board. You know, these things will be sent to the legislature, as well as they will become part of what we've told to the community that we believe in as part of this process. So I think this is very much within our wheelhouse as part of this. I love Josh's feedback on this and his data that would go there to support this process, why we think it's important to youth. My only suggestion is that we want to make, I would make this a little broader to be not just vaping, but e-cigarettes, tobacco use in general, not specifically just e-cigarettes. But I think that the sentiment, the words, everything here is exactly right on.
Okay, Member Westra.
So, I grew up in a tobacco state, and we had packages, basically we had laws back when I was in school. So I'm a little bit shocked that Michigan does not have those laws, and anything that, I mean, tobacco kills, and a lot of students don't understand the health impacts of tobacco or vapes or anything else. I really think that I would really like to support this in my case.
I think that the state has tobacco laws already. This just recognizing the changing conditions of e-cigarettes and vaping
Right.
On this process.
I
And it's
understand,
really to
but-
strengthen them. Yeah, agree wholeheartedly.
I just think we need to protect our kids,
Mhm.
right?
And what I kind of read into this as, just it's an easy access. It's an item that students have easy access to, and that there's not strong penalties for selling to minors. So this is trying to capture that to really protect our students from making a harmful decision. And now I don't know, we could ask Dr. Merritt, how often are we seeing students vaping on campus or smoking on campus or getting caught in that regard. I just think this kind of further enforces some of those policies that we have in place and helps encourage our students not to make those decisions.
I do have a question. How do we address, in P-CCS, how do we address in health classes or anything else the use and impacts of e-cigarettes and the flavored tobacco and, all of the other things that are attractive to children?
It's a part of the health curriculum under the
I can't-
tobacco. It's a part of the health curriculum under the tobacco section and stuff. So it's addressed in health classes as well. So and also
At the middle school level or just the high school level?
I could look at the curriculum, but I think it's probably at both. I don't quote me on that outside of right this minute, though. I'll talk with the team and make sure. So, and historically in the state, it's been middle school and high school, even back when I taught it several years ago. But I'll confirm that and bring it back. So if we can put it in board notes, I'll make sure I answer it.
All right, So I guess part of the discussion too today is, do we want to modify this resolution to include any of the language? I know Josh, again, thoughtful and thorough information here. Do we want to take a portion of this, some of this, all of this, or wordsmith anything? Or do we like the resolution as it is?
I personally would suggest that we take what Josh has, excuse me, what Josh has written, and either ask him or we expand that to be more broad to address e-cigarettes in general and not just specifically e-cigarettes and the other things that are part of these bills, and not specifically just the vaping. But I think that the message is there, and that come forward for us at the next board meeting.
Right.
If we need more discussion, we can table that resolution. If we feel that we don't quite have the language right, we're absent 2 board members right now, but that would give us a chance to further discuss it. That's my suggestion.
Is there a timeline on this? In other words, does this have to go to the legislature by a certain date?
That's a great question. I really don't know.
Okay.
That is a really good question. We might want to find that out.
We can
before.
find out.
Yeah. Because if this is something that's being voted on now and that these bills will die this session, we'd rather get that feedback in ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, I agree. Is anyone else opposed to including this language as Treasurer Keough suggested in the resolution?
I'm just not sure I'm for the resolution as far as us. It's not so much the resolution saying that these things are wrong and that the legislature should. I'm just wondering, as a board, how many resolutions, because I could think of some. I'm concerned how we are very concerned, we stay concerned about this, but that we're not concerned about other things affecting some of the kids. And so I just kind of, I don't know. I would like to see the resolutions up there now that we have. It's like, should we re-vote on those again? Because there's people have signed, and it's like, some of those, I think, could be reworded as a board member, standing board member, and having that on our page. It's just kind of some of the things like that. It's like, do we have a policy that says, okay, a resolution will stay up for so long, and then it comes down, or kind of feel like it's, like we're just doing extra stuff that's, there's no base, there's nothing on it that says our position of doing that. So,
Okay.
I don't know, some more guidance as far as a policy or something on that.
Sure. And just moving forward, any resolution that is brought forward by a board member needs to be seconded by another board member, which was this case.
Okay.
And would be for any topic for discussion, right? So that's really the process here, and this is just something for our consideration, and then ultimately we'll vote on it, and you can
Okay. Yep. Okay.
vote accordingly.
All right, thank you.
So, in terms of the language, I don't know that, I think I heard Member Westrow, you said you were in support of taking this language and modifying it slightly per Member Keough's suggestion, or did I hear someone else? I just want to make sure that we're in agreement with that.
I'm in agreement with having some of Josh's
Okay.
comments incorporated.
Okay. Josh, if you could send an email to myself, I will distribute to the board members, and then we can see if there's any other additional edits, and we can kind of put that within our resolution.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then I just have one more question. Could
Sure.
So going down this rabbit hole, I was exploring a lot of things, but I just had one question. I was wondering whether the student handbook matches law with regard to possession of nicotine products on campus and district sanctioned events, and what is the procedure when a student less than 21 is found with a nicotine or tobacco product currently, given they are subject to criminal penalties currently under Michigan law, and is the district responsible for notifying or engaging police in these matters, I guess?
So is that a question now to maybe Dr. Merritt? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So we can break those down. I'm going to ask Mr. Tiskowitz, according to the code of conduct, what happens, the fines of...
Yes, it is mentioned in the code of conduct. It's been updated. It includes the Tobacco Act, and students are reported to, local municipalities.
Thank you.
Well, can I just say the policy number that we have on that, so he knows? The policy number we have on that is 5512. So you can look at that too. It also tells, it's under the 5,000 section on students. And it's use of tobacco by students.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Card. That was helpful. Okay,
I have the answer to the question. So they are standards in both middle school and high school health classes. And so it's in our middle school and high school health curriculum. Fix that one so we don't have to send in board notes.
perfect, thank you for finding that out.
As a secondary, it could be, I know that we're looking at updating our website, moving on to a new website. So as you look at your page, that could be another time to have a discussion about what you would like, if there's some new items or some things that you would like to revise. So maybe in a future meeting under discussion, you can talk about, right now they're looking at doing a soft launch over this winter break to just work out the kinks, and then we'll talk more January. So it might be just a good discussion about just how you'd like your page to be reflected going forward on the new website.
Do we need to have commentary before the soft launch, or?
Well, it will be, like each website is able to be built out and changed all the time, so that, right now, what will be ported over is what's currently on the new website, but that could be a time to engage in conversations if you really want to update it and, have so
Okay.
many more capabilities.
Okay.
Okay, I think that concludes this section, and we'll move to follow-up board questions. From last meeting, we had a couple, let's see, we had a board member requested information regarding the chronic absenteeism from the fall data presentation. That was satisfied in board notes.
And the trend is still there. It wasn't quite as improved, but the trend was definitely in the right direction. So.
Okay, and then the second item here, it says a board member requested additional information from the fall data presentation to highlight why student retention is not considered beneficial. Did we receive that? Oh, okay, that's answered. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, so both were satisfied, and then tonight, we had a question, but Ms. Rail did just answer it, and then there was a follow-up question around the timeline for the resolution, so we'll figure out if there's a planned vote on those bills. Okay, that takes us to the end of our agenda here, and I'm going to adjourn our meeting, at 8:26 p.m. Thank you, everyone.